Barnett and Chelsea and Kensington Hospital Management Committee, 1968, Volume 1, All England Reports, page 1068. The plaintiff in this case is the widow of the deceased, that is William Patrick Barnett. On the other hand, the defendant is the Chelsea and Kensington Hospital Management Committee. For the facts of the case, the deceased worked as a security guard at night with two of his colleagues at the Chelsea College of Sciences and Technology. At 5 a.m., they decided to have some tea together. However, something bad happened. 20 minutes after they drank the tea, they all started to vomit. It was reported that they were continuously vomiting until 8 a.m. until the security guard for the next shift came. Later, the deceased and his colleagues immediately went to the casualty department of St. Stephen's Hospital in order to get the appropriate treatment. In the casualty department, they informed a nurse about their concerning condition, that is continuously vomiting after drinking the tea. The nurse then called Dr. Banerjee, who was not there but at his home. However, Dr. Banerjee said that he would not come to treat them. This is because he himself was feeling unwell. Dr. Banerjee, through the nurse, ordered the deceased and his colleagues to go back and make a house call doctor. A house call doctor is when patients are not being treated at the hospital. Instead, a doctor will come to their house or place to treat them. Upon the order, the deceased and his colleagues went back to the college. At the college, the deceased stayed at the staff tea room with his bad condition. One of his colleagues offered to call in a doctor for him. The deceased rejected this offer by saying, "Leave me alone, I will be all right." However, later at around 1:30 p.m., the deceased was found dead at the room. It was found out that the death was due to arsenical poisoning, which is a rare medical condition. The court assumes that someone with murderous or criminal intent had poisoned their tea by putting arsenic into it. Upon the death, the plaintiff sued the Hospital Management Committee with the cause of action of negligence. In this case, there are three main issues that need to be resolved by the court. The first issue is whether the defendants, as a casualty department of a hospital, owe a duty of care towards the deceased. For this issue, the court held that indeed the defendants do owe a duty of care towards the deceased. The judges stated, among others, that this is not a case of a casualty department who closes its doors and does not receive patients, which, if that is the case, the defendants might not owe a duty of care towards the deceased. Next, the second issue is whether the defendants had breached their duty when they failed to diagnose and treat the deceased. For this issue, the court found that indeed the defendants had breached their duty. This is because the defendants had failed to do something which a reasonable hospital authority would have done, that is, to diagnose and treat their patients. Lastly, the third issue is whether the defendant's breach caused the deceased's death. For this issue, the court found that the defendant's breach did not cause the death of the deceased. This is because It was found out based on evidences that it was already too late to do anything to save the deceased wife. At the end, the court held that the defendants were not liable.